Dustin, let's go ahead and roll that video. All right, I guess that's the end of the video.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum assalam, Muhi. Are you ready?
I am so ready, Preach.
Are you ready, brother?
I appreciate you, Preach.
Brothers and sisters, give it up for my main man, the hardest working man in nonprofit and philanthropy. Give it up for the showstopper, the main dropper, my main man, your main man. Put your hands together. If you got one hand, just clap it against the wind and think about it. You're making some noise. Brothers and sisters, give it up for my main man, Muhi Khwaja.
I appreciate that, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to sincerely thank each and every one of you for the just being here. You know, we've been working really hard on today's program, and it's a testament to our team, all of you, our sponsors, and everyone else. So I just wanted to start with gratitude and thanking you. I'm going to go really quickly just through some of my background, just for those of you who are unfamiliar with myself. I grew up in Canton, Michigan, and was part of the Muslim community of Western suburbs, where I saw civic leadership and servant leadership displayed every day in the community. Of course, I need to give a shout out to my fantastic parents who helped raise my siblings and I, and just really showed us what it meant to be in a community. You know, these were people who came together and founded the Muslim community of Western suburbs. And I'm sure it's a similar story to many of you who are watching, where they found a community, they left their homes, they started a whole new experience and journey, and allowed us to experience the American dream. And as challenging as that statement is to say, I think there's still a lot of hope in America, and something that AMCF is committed to funding that change that we need to see in the community. So I went on to work at went to school at the University of Michigan Dearborn, where I was actively involved on campus. And after I graduated, I started working at the I started working at the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding. ISP does fantastic research on the American Muslim community, and was able to be their first development hire back in 2010. Back then, fundraising professionals in the Muslim community, there was a handful of us. But now, over a decade later, there are hundreds of Muslim professional fundraisers at Muslim-led institutions and institutions outside of our faith community. And it's a testament to the nonprofit sector to see this growth. And again, AMCF is hopefully playing a strategic role in helping build the capacity and leadership development of these leaders. I went on to work and do the same thing at Tet Leave Collective. After working a few years there, joined the American Red Cross, and now started AMCF. Next slide, please. So I got involved into development work through the University of Michigan and the Development Summer Internship Program. I also had a fellowship at ISNA. I am an alumni of the American Muslim Civic Leadership Institute at University of Southern California. I am a certified fundraising executive. I've been part of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. I'm on faculty at the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy and the Fundraising School, where we teach best practices. And I'm also a student there right now in the Graduate Certificate for Philanthropic Studies. So just continuing learning about this field and really passionate about this work. I also participated in the Rockwood Leadership Institute and recently received a nonprofit management certificate from Georgetown University. So we're here to talk about AMCF and our social impact. And you can find our social impact update in the exhibit hall. It's one of the documents you can download. You can add it to your briefcase, check out. And how cool is this VFairs platform? Hopefully you guys are enjoying it and you'll have some time to browse through the exhibit hall afterwards. So I obviously have to give a shout out to the entire host committee who worked tirelessly on this event. So their names are up there. I can't say everybody's name because it would just take too long, but so many people, I'm indebted to your time and effort as we planned and dreamed about this event together over the last few months. So thank you so much for your help. Obviously, I have to talk about AMCF itself. And I wanted to share that we have a fantastic team and led by Sister Safa Ibrahim. She is our president and co-founder. Our vice president is Sister Agnes Chong. Our treasurer is Brother Omar Hassan. Our interim secretary is Sister Shireen Nasser. We have a general board member, Asmat Bin Basia, and our other co-founder, Ayman Al-Sawah, and also board member Marwa Masarani. So that's our leadership team. They're really fantastic individuals who are dedicated to help this organization. Maybe you only have heard from me, but there's actually other people doing so much work. And our advisors, we have people in different skill sets helping us make a lot of great decisions to benefit the community. And I do want to shout out all of our staff members. Last year, I joined full-time after leaving the Red Cross, and it's been a significant journey, but I couldn't do it without our part-time staff as well. So I want to give them each a shout out. Atia Kazi, who worked late hours this week. She is, she's a part-time employee for 10 hours a week, but I know you do so much more than that. And thank you so much for all of your help in making today's event possible. Hidayah Hassan, she's an intern as well. She set up our auction, or she set up some of the great videos that we're going to be playing later today. Aisha Khanam is another intern, and she set up our auction. So again, text auction to 71441, and you'll be able to look at all the awesome items that we curated for today. And the auction will end on Sunday, the 22nd. So you have a week or so to place your bids. I need to give a shout out to Anna Kovchina, our bookkeeper, who gets all of our important payments out to the nonprofits that we support. Hamza Mahmoud, another intern helping us out, and Chone Sakatoga, who is our web admin, and he helps us with uploading our podcast. So that's our team. Our vision for AMCF is to cultivate donor giving and diversify funding pathways to advance charitable causes. Our vision is leading sustainable and strategic Muslim philanthropy for today and future generations. So I invite you to learn more about AMCF, and on the screen now you have our services. So I'm not going to go too into depth because we have so much to share with you as well in this program. So, donor advised funds are a really great way for you and your family to consolidate all of your giving. You can give now and distribute later. It's like a charitable savings account for you and your family. So I'll invite you to visit our website to learn more. Again, our booth has so much more information as well. Same thing, these are our programs. We have today the Philanthropy Awards, we have our podcast, we have a professional development fund that we're starting. A lot of nonprofits can only hire their staff but not provide additional benefits. So if you give to our professional development fund, other nonprofits can apply for funding to send their leaders to get certifications and do so much more. And we had, back in 2016, this document, that's the screenshot on the left, I came together with several people, sent out an email blast to like hundreds of people and said, I have this idea. I know it's been thought of before, but our community hasn't gotten around to doing it. And we need to try to invest in the future of our nonprofit leaders and create a more sustainable opportunity for us to continue this work. So, we started back in 2016. And now we've had 3 grant cycles, we have 8 giving circles, we have 6 endowments, 13 fiscal sponsorships, over 85 donor advised funds across the country, 500 and more nonprofits that are vetted in our directory. We've given out $360,000 in a COVID-19 response fund, and we've distributed more than $3 million as well. So back in 2019, if you saw the video in the lobby, you heard about the inspiration of today's event. And that's because we received the 2019 Outstanding Foundation by the Association of Fundraising Professionals. And I wanted to replicate that feeling for the Muslim community as well. So that's what we're doing later today. So there's really unique examples of how AMCF has collaborated. And I just really want to quickly highlight our giving circles. The Bay Area Collective Giving came together and wanted to do something for Ramadan, but as COVID-19 hit, they bumped up their distribution cycle to get money out the door quicker and selected 2 great projects, Penny Appeals Financial Hardship Grant and the Crescent Zakat Fund at Stanford University. And they were able to give a total of $80,000 away. On the screen, you see Fantasy Football for a Cause. It's a group of family members that all pitch in and give a certain amount of money, and then the winner of the Fantasy Football League gets to decide where to distribute the funds. We work with Bayan Islamic Graduate School, Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, Heart Women's and Girls and Son Trust to help set up their endowments and manage that. And we've also passed on funding to podcasts like Immigrantly. We have partnerships with Noor Kids and Launch Good, and we also support projects like the Center for Global Muslim Life and Yalla Kafala. So I want to quickly highlight some of the financial strides that AMCF has made. Back in 2017, we collected $60,000 for our operations, and through last year, we were able to double that. Our endowment size is still generally pretty small, but it's something that we're committed to increasing over time. And our donor advised funds, that's where the sweet sauce is. We had 13 families start in 2017. And really, it was that first family. They were like, yeah, we'll trust you with this. And, so it takes just one person to make a difference. And that's what I want to remind you is that when you support AMCF, when you set up a donor advised fund, when you create a giving circle, you are inspiring so much more work. So, don't think that you as an individual can only do so much. It's actually the opposite. When you commit to doing something, and we're happy to help you through AMCF to make that happen. These donor advised funds have given out more than $2.5 million since they've started. We've supported more than 271 nonprofit organizations with over 1,200 transactions. So here's just a brief view of some of the cause-based philanthropy that we do. We had a Black History Month initiative, Women's History Month initiative, and Hispanic Heritage Month initiative, where we found organizations working in those respective communities and gave funding from AMCF to support their causes. As we know, this year and the last few years have had the Black Lives Matter movement very up front and center, and we wanted to make sure that they knew that the Muslim community cared about them too. And of course, with the blast in Beirut earlier this year, we also set up a fund for that. So these are just a sample of some of the events that we did. We explored social justice through Islam, and we had an event on American Muslim identity with Rizwan Manji, Ilyasa Shabazz, and Noor Taguri. And we did a specific segment on financial empowerment for women as well. We did a lot of census engagement work promoting on why it's important to support the census. And we had a social impact webinar and series that walked through 8 different topics of what nonprofit leaders should know to help their organizations grow. And we also did a micro grant for census engagement for starting endowments and the COVID-19 response fund for nonprofits. I want to remind you that we have our podcast, so you can check that out at, if you text AMCF pod to 71441, you'll get all the links. And the 5 Fast Minutes was in Ramadan. Every day we gave a different nonprofit a spotlight to talk about their organization and why people should learn more about them. So I want to really highlight really quickly the importance of the CARES Act in 2020. It allows you and your family to make a $300 gift, even if you don't itemize and claim that deduction. For those of you who do itemize and you may have cash reserves, you can give up to 100% of your adjusted gross income as a charitable deduction. For businesses, you can now give up to 25% of your adjusted gross income. So talk to us later about this information if it's something that you may want to set up a donor advised fund and take advantage of these tax breaks. So I want to make an appeal to you to make sure that you sustain this work that American Muslim Community Foundation is doing. And a lot of people, they make small monthly donations. Some people write big hefty checks, but whatever way you like to give, we want to make sure that you add American Muslim Community Foundation to the list of charities. You may not be ready to set up a donor advised fund. You may not have the time to get involved with the giving circle, but the least that we hope that you can commit to is making a gift. And you can do so by texting GIVE to 71441, and it'll send you a link on how to make that donation. So whether it's $10 a month or $100 a month or $1,000 a month, whatever you can commit to support our operations will make such a strategic impact on the hundreds of nonprofits that we work with. So I want you to think of AMCF as a way for you to help the entire nonprofit sector advance, because we're committed to sharing these best practices with the entire nonprofit community and showcase that when we make gifts to all nonprofit organizations, not just Muslim-led institutions, but organizations outside of our faith community as well, that the Muslim community cares about them. Because you as an individual, if you give to support your alma mater or your local food bank, they may not know that it's a gift inspired by your faith. But what we know is if you give through American Muslim Community Foundation, when we make that ACH transfer or we cut that check to that charity, they're going to see that it comes from the American Muslim community. So we want you to amplify our voice. We want you to double down and make sure that we can change the narrative of what it means to be an American Muslim and do that through our charitable giving. So again, just a reminder for the auction and to give. And at this point, we can keep the show going. This was just our opportunity to touch face-to-face with you. I really thank all of our sponsors for their contributions, and we're going to bring up our special guest speaker. So Hassan Minhaj